It's fitting that we're commemorating the Civil War in April of 2011, the opening month of the sesquicentennial of the Civil War. On April 14th, 1861, after 33 hours of relentless cannon fire, Major Robert Anderson was on hand at Fort Sumter, a man from Kentucky, to bring down the flag at Fort Sumter. 4 years later, to the day, on April 14th, 1865, then General Robert Anderson was on hand yet again, this time to raise the flag back up at Fort Sumter. Thus began and ended the Civil War. I should tell you that at precisely the same time that General Robert Anderson decided that evening to raise a toast to the Union forces and to his commander-in-chief, John Wilkes Booth was entering Lincoln's box at Ford's Theater. Between those two dates, April 14th, 1861 and April 14th, 1865, this university served as a hospital to the Union Army. It also actually served as a facility to the Confederate Army for a very brief time in the month of September 1862, when the Confederate forces occupied Lexington. Among the doctors who were working in that hospital facility, particularly the one right next door, Old Morrison, was a gentleman by the name of Robert Peter. Robert Peter was a graduate of the Transylvania Medical School. He went on to become the chairman of the chemistry department and the pharmacy department, and then eventually rose to be dean of the medical school. And during the Civil War, he served as a U.S. Army surgeon. When he was not stitching Union soldiers, he used his surgical tools to stitch an American flag out of his wife's dresses. And that flag is at my left here. That flag flew over Old Morrison during the Civil War. You will notice that the flag has 34 stars, because it was begun after the admission of Kansas on January 29th, 1861. It differs in that important respect from the flag that flew over Fort Sumter that only had 33 stars. It's our pleasure to have this flag, and it was brought to us. This flag has not been on display since 1986, and it is here because of the generosity of a gentleman who is sitting in the front row, Mr. Putney Garant. Sir, would you mind standing up and taking a bow? It's interesting to think about how Americans have used the American flag. Going into the Civil War, it generally only flew on formal occasions and in governmental locations. It was only with the increased symbolism of the American flag that came about as a function of the flag that flew over Fort Sumter that Americans began to mass produce the flag and fly it at homes and schools and churches around the country.